And now we want to, I think we'll put the roof on it. Let's go back to our main floor here for a second. I just realized that our grid bubbles never got renamed. Watch, click in here once, click again, capital A. Click out, click, oops, wrong one. Click once, click twice, B. So we'll rename these grid lines. Okay, and those will get renamed in all the views. If I go to my east and west elevation, then those will all be renamed. I can pick this and pull this down here. There's no numbers in here because we haven't put these on sheets yet. So none of your section bubbles will actually get propagated with information till they get placed on a sheet. So let's have a look at our 3D view. Okay, I think we'll start by putting our big gable roof on here, and then we will edit the profile of this wall and bring it across. Okay, so let's just have a look at our sheets here for a second. Let's go to our, suppose we can go to our cover page. See, we've got this roof that goes up and over. This has a flat roof on the small annex part, and then this wall will need to kind of edit that profile. So we're just going to do this roof, and I think we'll do this gable end and the other gable on the other side. So go back into here, and we'll start by doing our roof. So let's just look at our south elevation here for an instant, okay? Just so we get familiar. So there's our top of roof. There it is. There's our wall, right? So that's more or less the strike point at the top of that plate. So if I go to my top of roof, okay, here I am. Okay, it's using this. It's using a view range as well. Okay, it's not really seeing much because it's only seeing these walls below. The other thing is that there's currently an underlay. Okay, so at the top view here, what's happening is by default it's underlaying the view below. So you're saying, well, if the cut plane rule we learned applies, then why am I seeing what's with these gray walls inside of here? And that's because there is, by default, it's put an underlay here. If I say none, it won't underlay anything. So technically I wouldn't see anything on my top of roof plan without the underlay because my view range doesn't go down that far. So that view underlay is probably a good thing. We'll underlay the second floor. All of a sudden I can see where my exterior walls are. Okay, so now I'm going to create a roof, and I'm going to do a roof by footprint. I should point out that roofs are probably the trickiest thing to do in Revit. We have many CAD clips on roofs. So this, we're going to have one gable and one flat roof, but we have many lessons on roofs. So this again is just a kind of a series to get you up and running here. So if we go to our Home tab, and we go to our roof tool, we're going to click on here and we're going to do a roof by footprint, which basically lets you draw a trace around the outside, and then you define which edges are going to slope, okay, and then set the eaves height, and then it will basically create the roof for you. Okay, so just having said that, we'll say roof by footprint. And now what I'm going to do is we can do this a couple ways. We can trace around. It's kind of like our floor, right? We trace around. But this is where we can use either pick lines or pick walls. And there's a difference between using the sketching tools here as opposed to the pick walls. When you use a pick walls, the edge of the roof is actually in communication and constrained by the wall itself, as opposed to just freehand sketching the footprint. So we're going to say pick walls, which enables us to set an overhang in here of, let's say we can go 2 feet. So 2-foot overhang. And watch what happens. I'm going to get inside of here. Notice I wiggled around to get inside, and you see the blue line? Okay. And it depends on the side, obviously, but we want to go like this. Click. Click. It's clicking the walls from our underlay. Click. Click. Then I'm going to use my trim tool here to fillet these two guys. Pick the edges you want to keep. Okay. Now I'm going to click modify or hit escape on the keyboard. These little triangles define the edges that are sloping. So right now it's going to slope on all 4 sides, which is going to create a cottage or hip roof. These are gable ends, so I can click on both of these using my control button and say no slope for you. Click out. Now it's going to slope from here to here. Okay. The slope is going to be a 912 pitch. They're both going to be 912. You can click on here and change each individual one if you want. It's up to you, and you can also change your overhang. You can also change the plate offset from base, which basically moves the eaves up and down. So this raises and lowers the eaves. This controls the overhang, and this controls the slope for individual lines if you want. Click out. Escape. And we are in sketch mode here because you can see we've got our red X and our green check mark. So if you don't individually change the slopes here, it's going to take on this slope. So they're both at 912. Good enough. I'm at the top of roof. I can actually go up to my 3D view here and we can see where that is. Okay. And then I can hit finish. It's going to create that roof. Click out. Not too bad. Okay. Now, if I pick on this roof again, if I want to go back and edit it, just like the floor plan or the floor, edit footprint, I'm back in editing, and I can go back to my top of roof, and I can continue editing and draw new lines and use your line work and arcs and trimming and extending and mirroring and copying and rotating. So that's when you start to use these tools here to modify and draw your edges. It has to be a closed polygon. Same as with the floor. If I put a rectangle in the middle of this, escape, escape, okay, I don't want to put a slope because this is going to do crazy things. But what I could do is I could go in here, take the slope off all of those, go to my 3D view, and then if I hit finish, it'd cut a hole in there. Okay, if you go to the top view over here, click, it's going to show you that, and then of course we can rotate this around. This way, back. I'm trying to get this to rotate. There we go. Okay, so that's, again, I can pick on here in a 3D view and say edit footprint. Do a window box, grab these guys, delete them, finish. Click out, shift middle mouse button because I'm in a 3D view. Okay, now let's have a look and pick on here. I didn't even really check what roof type it was. This is basic roof, generic 12-inch thick. So if I hit edit on here, after I've selected it and I go into the structure, it's basically saying it's just a 1 foot thick. Revit does not include the truss or anything thereof in the roof. All it does is create basically the top chord. Or on a flat roof, it might create a little bit more. So what I'm going to say is, well, this is going to be just top chord is going to be a 2x6 with, plywood and stuff on top of that. So I can come back and fix that and create a new roof type in my next lesson. So for the most part, there's kind of our top of our roof. And now we'll go in and have a look at the structure of the roof. And then we'll take this wall and create our gables.